and I represent product and marketing function of Collins Learning. On behalf of Collins Learning, I welcome you to this web series of webinars on Tech Tuesdays, where we will learn about HTML and web designing today. A small introduction of our resource person, Mansi Kashikar. Mansi is the co-founder of MindChamp, an engineer by education, but an educationist by heart. She has taught 1,000 plus of kids to code over the last 4 years. Her understanding of technology and love for kids made her so passionate about learning or introducing a new segment of coding in the K-12 sector. Mansi's company, MindChamp, not only teaches coding to kids, but also empowers women in technology to restart their careers. The objective is to empower every child with the knowledge of coding. Their work has been recognized by DIPP, Government of India, Google, Accenture, Capgemini, and others. They are one of the 20 companies to represent India on an international platform held in Finland. She strongly believes coding is the new life skill every child should be exposed to, whether they want to become a computer engineer or an artist, and strives to achieve that through fun learning. So let us join Mansi to understand what coding means, the impact of coding around us, and create a small website. Over to you, Mansi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hari. Good evening, everyone. Really wonderful to see so many people who are actually interested in knowing what is coding and wanting to learn more about how to code. So before, we keep hearing so much about coding nowadays. Since past 1.5 years, we are hearing about kids should learn to code. And it's really interesting that more and more kids are interested in creating their own games. So today we just thought that we'll have a short session to actually explain why coding is really important for kids and why should they actually learn to code or to create their own games and websites. So let's just get started with it. I will share my screen. I am unable to share, Shrikant.
Mansi, you can share now.
Yes. Okay, so let's get started with our HTML and website designing workshop. Really excited to take you all through it. Hopefully, we've already gone through the first seminar on coding and kids learn to create a flying cat through Scratch programming. So today we are going to actually work on creating our own website. But before that, I want to speak a little about why coding is important for kids today. So we have been seeing that there is a huge generation shift. A few years ago, I actually gave a laptop to my young niece, 4-year-old niece. And the way she started using it, she used it much faster than I ever could. So that is when I realized that this is what digital native means. This is the new generation that we are talking about. Kids are changing completely, and they are so much used to technology. And that's where we realized that we have to start making sure that kids learn about this much more in detail. So before I start off with the actual seminar or the webinar, I would want to just explain a few things to you. So when telephone was introduced, it took 75 years for it to reach 5 crore users. Okay. Similarly, when television was introduced, it took 13 years. Internet took 4 years to reach 5 crore users, whereas Facebook took 2 years. Can you guys tell how long do you think Pokemon Go? I hope all of you know about Pokemon Go, right? It's a gaming app that was introduced. Can you guess how many days or years it took for Pokemon Go to reach 5 crore users?
Well, someone says just a few days.
Yes, can you just put a wild guess?
15 days?
13 days, very close.
15.
Oh, yeah, very close. It took 19 days. But that's the technology shift that we are seeing. As years go by, this technology shift is going to get lesser and lesser. And that's the way of life now. we keep hearing about AI, AR, VR, IoT, data science. These are all big words that are thrown upon us. It is our responsibility to make sure that we ensure that kids today understand these meanings of these words, because only then can they be able to actually adapt to it in the future. And that's the way of life now. So that's why coding is important. But before anything else, why do you think, actually, what is coding? Does anybody really know? I'm sure most of you would have attended the workshop we conducted last time. So does anyone have any idea about what is coding?
Looking for answers both on Facebook as well as here. I think someone with the name Purva Kadam has raised up her hand. Ms. Purva, if you would like to unmute yourself and answer.
Yes, I know coding. I entered the last class, which was taken by Sneha something.
Yes, it was by Sneha ma'am.
Yes.
Can you tell me then what is coding?
They teach us some means like creating animations
Very
in
good.
real. We can just imagine that it is real.
Excellent. Very good. Anything else?
From scratch they teach us, and I tried side by side. It was amazing.
That's really good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Purva.
And so we have one answer here, Mansi. To execute an action, we need to give commands called codes.
Excellent. Excellent. That is exactly what we were looking for. So what is coding? Coding is basically just giving instructions to the computer. Okay, that is all that is coding. So when I started coding when I was in 9th grade, I used to learn QBasic back then. And my first program was just to print Hello World on a screen. But that itself was so empowering for me, because when I actually coded that particular thing, and when that blue screen popped up with Hello World, I was so excited, because just the very fact that I had the power to command the computer. And that really got me really excited about it. And I was like, you know what, I really need to learn this language. And that's what is code. You just need to write few lines of code on the computer, and the computer will react exactly what you ask it to do. So coding is present everywhere today. I'm sure half of us are using at least 2 of these apps that are present today. As Purva rightly pointed it, coding is used for creating animations. It's used for creating games. All the apps we use today, all the games that we play on our laptop, on our mobile phones, all have been coded by someone or the other. That's the power of coding today. And that's why it is our responsibility to make sure that every kid at least understands the basics of coding, so that they also have the idea to do something further. Coding can turn ideas into reality. So, something on this, I would want you to take you through a case study that I did for Netflix, about Netflix. The creator of Netflix, that is Reed Hastings. So what he did was, when back in the day, say 20 years ago, there used to be video centers where you could rent out DVDs. Okay, and what happened over there was he got a late fee of $40. That's what sparked the idea in his head, and he was like, okay, now that I know that this late fee is coming in, I need to create a video platform by which there is no late fee at all. Everybody can just rent out their own DVDs or CDs, and they can live happily types. So that's how the seed was planted in his head. And then when he started thinking over it, given that he was a coder himself, he knew that he could make this idea a possibility. He knew that that was possible. And then he started coding, and that's how Netflix was born. So it's a very short story, but that is something that makes us realize that if you have an idea, you can make it possible with technology. And that can only happen if you know the basics of coding. And that's why if you see even the National Education Policy 2020, they have included coding as one of the core subjects post 6th grade. So we are already taking steps towards it, and it's really wonderful to see that change happen. So coding consists of multiple languages, just like how we are talking right now in English, or you can talk to your parents or anybody around you in multiple languages like this: Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Tamil. Like that, coding also has various languages. So I have put across only a few over here, which I think most of us have heard about. There is Python, there is Java, JavaScript, C, C++, Ruby, HTML. But there are many more languages available today. So these are languages with which we communicate with the computer. And that's how the communication happens. So we have to write the code. All the websites available today, let it be Amazon or YouTube, all of them are basically lines of code which have been written by somebody. And those are the lines that we can, so when we see it, we can see them as videos or images or a gaming app for that example, for that matter. So that's how this thing looks like. So all the green ones that you see, these are called as the programming languages. So for example, let us consider a maze, a quiz app that you're playing on your phone. So there is a logic that someone has coded in the backend that says that if I click on the 4th option, then it has to take me to the next question because that is the right answer. But if I click on any of the 3 other wrong answers, then it has to take me back to the previous question, or it has to show me game over. So that logic is written in the backend using one of these languages. Python especially is one of the most used language today. If you all must have definitely heard about Instagram or Pinterest. So all these apps have been created using Python. And but how do we make sure that that particular app or that particular quiz game that I've created is visible on the website? That is possible by HTML. HTML is another language. The full form is Hypertext Markup Language. So as it says, it's a markup language. What HTML does is it helps you in designing or in creating websites. So let me take you through something. I'm sure all of us have visited Amazon.com. How is Amazon.in coded? So if you right click on it, and if you click on inspect element, you can see the entire code of the website. I think most of you who would have attended the last workshop have already gone through this. But this is exactly how difficult or how complicated the code looks. But trust me, HTML is the easiest language. And one thing you will see, the first line always says doctype HTML, which says that this is an HTML code. Similarly, let's try out some other website. How about we check Netflix? So if you check netflix.com also, you will be able to do the same thing. If you right click, show page source or inspect element, you will be able to see the same code with the first line that says doctype HTML. So that clearly shows that all these pages have been created using HTML. So that's HTML for us. So basically what I'm trying today, what we will be doing is we will be creating or recreating a web page from our end to see the top 5 places to visit in India. So that's where I am going to get to the next section. That is the website designing course. I hope all of you are ready with it because I want most all the kids who are present right now, all the participants who are present right now, I want you to try it out side by side. So if you're having your laptops, it is perfect. I would want you to, on Windows laptop, I would want you to open Notepad. If you do not have a Windows laptop and if you're using a MacBook like I am, then you will have to open Text Edit. Okay. So I'm going to give you time to open that. Are you guys able to see my Text Edit screen?
Yes, we can see the page where you have top 5 places to visit in India.
Okay, then I will have to. Okay, so I have opened text edit.
Yes, we can see that.
Yes. So all the students who want to create the web page right now, can you try to open Notepad or text edit, whatever is available to you. In case you do not have any of these on your laptop right now, it's okay. If you're on your phone or if you're on an iPad, it's all right. We are going to be live on Facebook as well. So you can always come back on the Collins Learning site and check out how we did this particular web page creation. So we are going to get started. So one thing about HTML is that it consists of multiple tags. Okay, so when I say tag, it means anything that is in angular brackets. So if you can see, right now I have written HTML in these angular brackets, or in some, or in other words, I can say that anything that is inside angular brackets is called as an HTML tag. Okay, so first, whenever you're creating any HTML page, you have to start with HTML. So now most of the HTML tags always have a end tag. So when I say end tag, it means a tag with a /. So this is the starting tag, that is this, and this is the ending tag. Okay, so most of it, again, not all, but most of the HTML tags will have end tag. Okay, so now just like a human body, the HTML also has a head and a body. And just how it works, it always starts off with head. So we have to add a head tag over here. Okay. Now, if you see, I am adding a lot of space in between. I'm adding tabs or space over here. This is called as indentation. It's not compulsory. Even if you're a beginner in HTML, then you can just avoid it completely. It's completely fine. We don't need to add it. Your program will run as it is without it also. But it's recommended that you always keep this space so that it looks much more interesting. And plus, if someone else is looking at your program, it's easier to read. So I am used to doing it, so I'm going to continue doing it that way. Okay.
Mansi, there is a request from all the children who are watching you.
Yes.
They request you to increase the font size so that it is readable. Is that possible?
Yes, of course it is possible.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Is this fine?
A little bit more, little. Maybe a 20 or 20. Yeah. This one.
Perfect. Okay. So inside the head tag, okay, so when I say inside the head tag, I mean between the start and the end of the head tag, okay, we have to add the title. So title is, what are you going to give title to your website? So since we are creating top 5 places to visit in India, let's give that as the title. Okay. Again, this is also met with a end tag. So always remember, a starting tag has to have an end tag wherever required. So let's run this and see. Let's see what happens by doing that. Now, extremely important, so please listen carefully. If you're on your notepad, that is in a Windows laptop, you click on File, you click on Save, you get a Save button. You will write it as, you can name it as whatever you want to. After that, you have to add .html. Always remember to add this .html, okay? And then save the particular file. For people who are on their MacBook, just like how I am, we have one extra step to do. We have to go on format. You need to change it to make plain text. Okay. Okay. I don't think we can change the size now. But anyways, after that, we have to go and click Save. You do the same thing that we did earlier, .html, and click OK. you have to click OK over here again, use .html. You will notice that wherever you have saved this particular file, automatically it has a Chrome or a Safari or a Microsoft Edge icon over here right next to it. Okay, so now let me just go back where I saved it. I think I will have to share my entire screen so that it's visible. Can you see my screen? Okay, I don't think it's possible right now. It's not showing my desktop. Okay, no worries. So basically, just give me a second, please.
Sure. Yes.
Are you able to see in the Chrome, the Safari browser?
Yes. We can see the top 5 places to visit in India.
Okay, no, that's not what I'm opening actually.
We can see a classroom with a brown board.
Okay, fine. Okay. Let us, anyways, you can see the text edit page?
Yes.
Move ahead. Okay, so I'll show it to you later. What I will be doing is, we will be adding a body tag. Okay, so now remember, anything that is shown on the web page, whatever you can see on the web page is written inside the body tag. So body tag is extremely important. So once I typed in the body tag, always make sure you close the tag, because in case you forget later, so it's always good to have that on board. So as you already know, in the beginning, we had one entire heading that said top 5 places. So let's add that. I'm going to add it in caps. Okay, I'm going to save it. Now this time you can just click on save because it's already saved on your machine. And I'm going to try and run it for you. I have to. Can you all see the?
Yes, there is a Chrome, there is a Safari browser with the title top 5 places in India.
Correct. So you see this, this is written as top 5 places in India. But whereas this is what we wanted. We wanted something in a bigger, bolder, much more appealing heading manner, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to go back to our program and we are going to add one more tag. This is called as the H1 tag. H1 tag is basically a heading tag. After we write it, we have to close it as well.
Mansi, would it be possible to increase the font size? No?
No, I don't think so. I just tried doing that, but it's not.
Or if you could zoom in. Is that possible? Yeah. This should. Would this work for you?
I will try.
Okay. Thank you.
So basically, we are adding this H1 tag. Okay. Once you add this, let me save and let me show it to you again how it will look like. I'm just refreshing my Siri. Did you see the change? It automatically became much more bolder, right?
Yes.
So that is what a heading tag does. That is what a heading tag is. So similarly, there is H2, H3, H4, H5 also, but maybe you can learn about it later in detail. But this is what we are doing. Now next we have to actually start showing the top 5 places as well. So this is called as a list. Okay, you can see there is Agra is number 1, Hampi is number 2, 3rd is Aurangabad, 4th is Kerala. So automatically you're getting these number 1, number 2, number 3, right? So this is called as a list. So now how do you actually code a list? So after H1, you have to go to the
Hello.
next. Yes.
I am Purva. Sorry to disturb you, but I am not understanding it.
Oh, okay, Purva. Any questions you have? What did you not understand?
Means I am actually doing it in a mobile as I don't have a laptop, but how to write? I have written HTML head and all that, but after that, what you're doing, I'm not able to do that.
Okay, so again, this is a little difficult to do on your phone or on your tablet. So maybe you will need a laptop to work on it because you have to actually type in the code, right? So unlike that,
Yes.
this is called as text-based programming. Remember you had done that in the last session as well. So
Yes, yes.
that is why it's a little difficult to do it. You will need to open a notepad or a text edit on your phone, which I don't think you will have available, right? Where are you typing the code right now?
I'm in the Samsung phone and Samsung notepad, a simple notepad I have.
Okay. So if you have a notepad app, then in that case, you can definitely write this entire thing on that app. And when you save it as .html.
Okay.
I think, yeah, you will need a laptop to do this. It's not, from what I know, you may not be able to, you won't have the actual notepad on your tablet available right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Purva. Is everyone else able to follow what I'm saying, or should
yes.
I?
Yes.
Okay. So then we started with top 5 places. Now we were talking about lists, right? How do we get these lists? So lists means what? If I'm putting anything in 1, 2, 3, 4 in an ordered manner, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. These are all ordered lists. Exactly how it says. Let's put a short form to this. That is OL. OL means ordered list. So we are going to start off with ordered list. Now, inside that, I'm going to add the first list. What is the first thing in our list? Agra.
This is the Taj Mahal. Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to add Agra in this particular tab. That is LI. Okay. It's the short form for list. So anything that I put inside it will have the number 1 written to it. Let's try it out. But before that, I will have to close the OL so that this runs. I'm going to show you guys in a step-by-step manner so that it's much easier for you to understand. You see this? Automatically 1 comes in picture. Similarly, if I write over here, what is L2? L2 was Agra, then there was Hampi. Then there was Kerala. Sorry, Aurangabad. So I'm going to write them all for you so that you can see it. You can go as per your pace. You don't need to rush at all. Always remember, each time you make any change, you have to save it so that you can check it again, right? So that's close to, or maybe not that close to, what we are trying to achieve here. Okay. So first of all, you see Agra has been written, Agra, Hampi, everything is a little in bold manner, whereas we are writing it in a normal text form. So let's make that bold as well. How do we do that? Inside this, I will try to make this H2. Remember I said with H1, there are other headings also. There is H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, right? So similarly, I'm going to do this everywhere. Now, automatically, if you check it, right? That's exactly what we have over here. So that's what HTML is all about. So HTML is used for designing an entire front end of the page. So if you want the Google logo to not be in the center, if you want it to be on the left, right, up, down, that is all possible using HTML. So the entire designing, the alignment, the font color, font size, background, everything is possible because of HTML. Okay. So we are going to do this, but before that, we are going to type what is written here. So luckily for me, I can copy paste it You guys will have to maybe just copy from whatever I am writing. So in this case, if you just write something, remember when we wrote top 5 places in India without the H1 tag, it automatically came out, right? Wherever we are writing. So I'm just going to paste as it is. I'm going to save it and I'm going to rerun it. Yeah, it got pasted over here and it got pasted under Agra. That's exactly what we want, right? So you're more than welcome to write anything else. I decided to go for this particular info because I wanted it that way. Now, next I'm going to add this. What are the other places to visit around Agra or inside Agra? Okay. And I'm going to run this and see how that works. But it comes in one line. Is that what we want? No, right? We need something else. Okay, guys, if you want me to go slow, please let me know so I can go accordingly.
I think the pace is fine.
Great. So for that, I'm going to use another tag called as the pre tag. Okay. So what the pre tag does is it makes sure that however you're writing it, whichever line you're writing it in, it automatically copies that. For example, right now I'm putting a space, a tabular space over here, okay, and over here. And now when I save it, and if I run it, did you see what happened? Yeah, automatically something that was in a single line came onto the next line and it got placed exactly the way we wanted it to. Didn't we want it like this?
Yes.
Yes, so that's what we got. Now next. So we learned about which tags right now, other than the main tags, that is the head tag and the title tag, body tag. We learned about heading tag, that is H1, H2. Then we learned about the pre tag, that is the pretext tag. Then we learned about lists, that is OL and LI. So now we can see that there is an image also, right? So we are going to add an image to our website. How do we do that? There is something called as a IMG tag. Okay. Understand one thing, HTML is the simplest of language. Just by looking at the tag, you'll be able to understand what does it mean or what does it do. So in this case, IMG is the image tag. So now from where can you actually pick up this image? Okay, so with IMG, there is something called as an attribute that you will have to add. In this case, it is SRC. So attribute, in short, because we are a little short on time, let me just hurry up and tell you this. Attribute is nothing but like an adjective. So for example, if I have to, if I have to ask you, what could be an adjective for an apple? Can you give me various, just put on the chat box, what could be an adjective that you could use for an apple? There is big apple, there is small apple. What else? Can you just give me, throw in few adjectives from your end as well?
Large.
Okay. You can put the color.
Huge. Yes.
Huge apple, red apple. There could be multiple.
Delicious, juicy.
Yes, yes, yes. So these are the different adjectives you can use with it, right? But you cannot use that with, you cannot say delicious with, say, a leaf, right?
Yes.
Or
yes.
a table. So
yes.
every word or every noun has its own basic set of adjectives as well. Similarly, every tag have their own basic set of attributes. Okay, so in this case, SRC, that means the source from where you're going to get your image. That's the attribute we're using. So what I'm going to do is, I already have this particular image, okay, taj.jpeg is already stored on my computer. That's why I'm using it. You guys will have to download it from the internet, or you will have to use it from your own collection so that you can use that. Just make sure that wherever you are storing your, wherever you're storing your HTML page, make sure that your image is also stored in the same folder. Okay. So if I add this and I click save, this may not run. See, exactly, because I've not stored the image in the same place that I've saved. 1 second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to my desktop as well. Yeah, now you can see this. Inside this particular folder itself, I have stored all these images. And that's why it is possible. Now let me run and show you. Okay, it's still not running. Okay then, there is something wrong with this. Let's try to figure. Okay guys, just give me a minute. I'm not too sure why this is, or did I open the wrong page? Okay, so one more thing that you can add along with SRC, there is one more attribute called as alt. So whenever sometimes the image is not visible, you can just add this to be sure what is the issue with it. In this case though, I am really not aware of why this isn't working, because this is exactly how it should look. Let me do one thing. This is the particular page that I had already created. And say we had used image src equals to, if you use it, taj.jpg or whatever is the name of your image. Okay, in my case, I had saved it as Taj. That's the reason it's got saved as this. I am not sure why it is not running in this case because we are using the same code. But I'm really not sure why is it happening. It is used in the same way. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on with Humpy.
Yes.
Yes. So one more thing that you can do is, I just feel that this might run now. Yes, here it is. I think I was making, there is some problem with the file that I was using. So one more thing that you see is that this image is way too big. I have to scroll at least twice to scroll below. So how do I make that change? So there is one more attribute that you can use along with this, and that is height. If I make the height to say 30% and the width to, I don't know, 50%. If we do this and now if we run this, this is a little too small. Maybe we can increase that. So one more thing to learn from this is I can write it in percentage as well as in pixels. So when I say pixels, pixels are basically dots. So every image in a computer is made up of small, small pixels. So small pixels together make a line. Okay. So if I wanted, I could have just written this as 100. So when I say it as 100, it is considered as 100 pixels. But I'm going to write here in percentage format itself. Yeah, so this is what we want, or we want something bigger. We can adjust with this for now. If I want to change anything, if it's up to you. If you want to increase this, decrease this, it's completely upon you. You can change this as per your own wishes. Okay. So now next we are going to move to Humpy. So we are going to copy the same code again for rest of this. So if you see this, the same thing, I'm going to just make sure I'm going to write it under Humpy. And obviously I'm going to change whatever format is written and everything else inside this. Can you tell me what am I going to write this under? Which tag am I supposed to use for this? Which tag should I use to write the entire thing about Humpy is a UNESCO World Heritage, etc.? Can you guys type in the chat box what tag should be used?
pre-tag.
Perfect. Yes, we are going to use the pre-tag. So once this is done, there is one more thing that we are supposed to add. I think it's the H2 tag for Humpy.
Yes, so H2.
That is written in a much better, bolder manner.
Mansi, can you increase the font size?
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, because people are finding it difficult.
Okay. I was supposed to zoom in, right?
Yeah.
I cannot. Yes. Yeah, I think. Yeah, is this better?
Yes.
So exactly what we did. Now next we are supposed to add image. So when I say image SRC, again, wherever you're storing the image, accordingly, you'll have to pick it up from there. In this case, again, I've stored it in the same folder with the name of Humpy. Now there are two types of images available, extensions, that is JPG as well as PNG. So always note which image you're downloading from the internet or which image you're using and what is its extension. And you can mention accordingly. If it is not in the same folder, then you will have to write the entire path so that it goes to that particular folder. Or you will have to write, for example, over here, if I'm taking it directly from the internet, I can even mention the Google path for it. So it will automatically pick up from there. Okay. Similarly, I'm going to copy paste the height and width. And I am going to close the image tag. I think we were trying out in some other particular thing. That's why the alt tag has not come. But alt tag, as I said, we can write it so that in case sometimes, the internet does not load or the image is not ready to load on its own, then at least you can see over there. If you hover over the image, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you hover over the image, you can automatically see, a small text box will open with what this image is supposed to be. So that's what alt tag does. So if you run this, perfect. That's exactly what we wanted, right? If you want to change the size and make it similar to this, you will have to adjust because each and every image is of different shape and size. So you'll have to change it accordingly. Or in this case, I can increase this also. Let's see how that works. Okay, maybe it will take time. Okay. So similarly, you are supposed to do everything with Aurangabad also, Kerala also. We are just supposed to repeat the whole thing again. Do you guys want me to show the whole thing, or should I continue with the background color and the text?
I think this gives a sense of how to create a certain number of tags. Maybe you could show how to include pictures and colors and fonts.
So if you can see, we've already created till here. I would really like to see everybody created till the end. You need not add Aurangabad, Kerala, Ladakh. You can add the places you have visited or the places you want to visit, obviously after COVID. But you can create one entire web page of your own so that it looks full. I want to see all the top 5 pages that everybody, or the top 5 places that everybody wants to visit. And what are the things that you want to see there? So understand one thing, that in designing, you can add anything of your choice. I wanted to add places to visit or places around Agra, but it is up to you that you can add maybe the history behind it, or the best time to visit it or how to visit it. So that is completely dependent on you. Now next, if you see that there is still something missing, our web page does not look as amazing as this web page looks. Could you tell me why? What is the difference? What can make our web page pop up as well? Anyone?
Maybe you could add some pictures, a beautiful background or a wallpaper.
Yes, perfect. We can add more pictures to it, or we can change the color exactly how you see this. Or I have one more option. We can try to animate it a little bit, right? So
yes.
In that case, I'm going to show you one more tab. This is called as the marquee tag. So if I add marquee tag, it is spelled as M-A-R-Q-U-E-E. Marquee. You guys can only look at it. I don't even need to explain it, what it does. You can just see what will happen when I introduce the marquee tag. Can you see the animation? Can you see how it's sliding the heading from right to left?
Oh, yes.
So yes, so that's how you're bringing that effect. So usually whenever you visit a website, you see, right, any warning sign or something like that that keeps scrolling. That is happening because of this particular tag.
Okay.
Let's keep moving again and again. Obviously, marquee tag also has its attribute by which you can make it move left to right as well, but that we can discuss some other time. So now next, what we need is we need to change the background to black. So now remember one thing, HTML is mostly used along with another language called as CSS, that is cascading style sheets. So today, most cascading style sheets is something that is used to beautify an HTML web page and make it look much more polished or better looking. So all this font size or background color change, everything is possible through CSS. Most of the web designers are using CSS today, but today we will just stick to HTML only. So I'm going to show you few tabs or few attributes that we can use in HTML to change the background color. So this attribute is, it has to be used with body tag. Okay, so whenever you're using an attribute, make sure in the tag you put a press, you press a space bar and then you write the attribute. Okay, so this is BG color. BG color full form is background color. So as we have seen, I want to change the background color to black. So this is exactly what I'm going to put it. Remember one thing, that if I want to put in 2-3 attributes like how we have done an image, for image tag we have put in src, height and width as well, right? You just need to have a space and just go on with more attributes that you want to add. That's exactly what we wanted, or we wanted the text also, but because the text is also in black, that is the reason we are not able to read it. So maybe you can change it to
the background.
Yes, so we
yellow
can make
or
it
green.
We can, yeah.
Yes.
So this is how we can. You can use whatever colors of your choice. You can say pink, yellow, orange. Let me try with this. So this is how your website can change colors. If you want to change the particular font size or font color, usually this is done in CSS, but over here we can try using this. You see the change? Now we can add this to black as well.
And also, can you increase the font size?
Yes, we can. We can increase the font size. So there are, usually we do that through CSS, but what we can also do is we can mention H3 heading, or let's say H5, and let's close it. Since I started it right next to OL, I'm going to close it before OL. Okay. Okay, there's some problem going on in. Okay, I think because we've used a pre tag, maybe if we put it inside this, this will work. Let's try it out. Okay, I don't think because of CSS, it may not work. I think that's the only solution to it. Or else I'll have to remove this and I'll have to make this a P tag, but that way it will change. So it's a little more complicated than what it looks like. I will have to change this and yeah, now it's become a little better compared to what it is here. But in this case, we don't get it the way we want to, right? We wanted it to be on the next line. So that's why we will stick to what we had earlier. Okay. So similarly, you can also add videos. You can also add, audio files. There are a lot of things that you can do with a website. If you want this particular image to be in the center, there's something called as a center tag as well. So there are a lot of tags available in HTML, which are obviously something that we cannot discuss in right now. But I hope you really enjoyed this and you guys could make a web page. I really hope you could follow this at this pace because I would love to see your websites. If you have created any websites, or if you can go back home and you can create it as per your pace and time, then I would like to see all the 5 places that you've already included. You can finish that up and you can send it to me on this particular email ID. You can add more images and videos, as I've already told you. If you've learned HTML in the past, then you can add more web pages along with this. But please do send and let me know how did you find creating your own first web page. So I think that's it from my end. Shrikant, any questions or any queries that the students have, I would love to address.
Yes. So I'm looking for questions. Someone has asked, want to know more about CSS because you've been using it.
Yes. So CSS is cascading style sheets, right? The thing is, I would love to explain a little bit more. Do we have time, Shrikant?
We just have a minute.
We have a minute. So it's a little difficult to show in a minute's time.
But could you, for their benefit, refer them to a website or?
Yes, of course, that I can do. So if you guys look at W3 Schools and search for CSS over there, you will be able to see how to use CSS on our web page. I would actually, 1 second, let me just try to show you how a CSS looks like. So you see this? Remember we had created the head tag. So inside the head tag, there is something along with title. You can also write the style tag. So whatever comes inside the style tag is called as the CSS. So in this case, you see body background. So I have changed the body, that is the entire background color to black and the font size, font color to white using the CSS tag. So this is exactly what a CSS looks like. It's not very difficult, but it's a little more complicated than HTML. But hope you got an idea about what it is.
Yes. I'm sure. And our sincere request to all the people on Facebook as well as on Zoom is it is understood that it will take some time to get a hang of this. So because the video is available on Facebook, please go through it and take your time, and perhaps you could code and create a web page and share it with all of us. So thank you so much. And on behalf of Collins, we would like to thank Mansi. And with that, I hand over the stage to Ms. Rageshri Niyogi, the head of marketing, Ms. Rageshri Niyogi will be in conversation with Ms. Shiba John Mathav. She is the publisher of Collins Learning, and Ms. Shoma Banerjee, who is the managing editor, and also the authors, Ms. Mansi, as well as Ms. Neha. So if Ms. Neha and Mansi could also, sure. With that, over to Ms. Rageshri.
Thank you, Shrikant. And thank you, Mansi, for a wonderful session. I'm sure that people really benefited from it. There were lots of questions, even on Facebook, from children who were doing this simultaneously. So thank you for introducing us to HTML and how to create a website. So before, I hope all of you had a great time. And if there are any questions, please put it on the chat box, or you can also put it in the comment section so that we can take it up later with Sneha and Mansi. So before we move on, to the winners of our Tech Tuesday, we would like to look at what Mansi and Sneha do when they're not running MindChamp and when they're not conducting webinars, right? So what they do is that they write books, and they wrote a very good series with us, which is called Smart Tech, and that's a book for classes 1 to 8. So students who are here and teachers who are here, so this is a great book that is coming up your way. And so let's talk a bit with Sneha and Mansi, and then we will also talk to Shiba and Shoma. So Sneha and Mansi, just wanted to understand what was your motivation for authoring these books, for children, and what motivated you? So Mansi, you would like to go first?
Yes, definitely. So basically, I love coding, and I realized, because I've been learning it since I'm in 9th grade, since 9th grade, and I realized that today a lot of students are not really familiar with all these coding terms and all the basic things you can do with coding. And coding can be it can be very interesting. So you can create games, and as we saw, we can create websites with it. So there's a lot you can do with it. And I thought that we really need to explain that to children so that kids themselves can create their own games and play their own games instead of playing some random games that are available on the internet. So I think that's what got me motivated, because I wanted more and more kids to learn to code.
Okay, thank you so much. And Sneha, your views, please. What motivated you to co-author this book?
So firstly, I think one of the reasons, yes, what Mansi mentioned. The other reason is also that students today or children today are exposed to so much technology more than any other generation before, and it's only accelerating from here. I think the technology is progressing very rapidly, and it is very important to understand how it works. It is very important to know the basics. Because going ahead, all industries, all sectors are going to be powered by technology, and we can't run away from it. There's no second thoughts about it. So I think the motivation was the fact that children should learn about it and learn about it well, have a good time learning about it. Actually, understand that it's so simple, and once they get the basics right, they can also create or make anything of their own for that matter. So I think, to familiarize them and to also give them the confidence, I think that was motivation.
Okay, thank you, Sneha. Thank you. Yes, of course, like technology actually rules. Like, it has also changed how we deliver education, right? I mean, so during the pandemic, it has completely changed the education system. So, so coming to Shiba, like, you have, now that the books have taken some shape, and so what are 2 features that you think are the best in the series that will benefit the students, across the country?
Okay, thank you, Rageshri. First of all, I would like to, before talking about the features, I would like to thank Mansi and Sneha for agreeing to be our authors. We are really privileged to have them as our authors. Yes, Collins Smart Tech is a new course which we are bringing out. Like, if I talk about the 2 features, one of the most striking features what I found in Collins Smart Tech courses, the clarity and the the simplicity of content actually. The clarity helps actually to orient the teachers to engage the students in a very with appropriate pedagogic tools, and to orient the teachers in their academic roles with appropriate pedagogic tools, which would enhance the learner engagement with the students. And also I feel that this would, the kind of content, the simple content which has been given in SmartTech would help promote better transaction, the learning transaction in the classroom. Now, if we talk about features, for example, like there is a feature called I Can Tell, so that helps the learner to reinforce the content, whatever they have learned just then. So there is also another feature, I Can Do. So I Can Do actually is to make the children apply the knowledge and the skill, what they have learned, what they have acquired, like from whatever they have learned so far in that particular chapter. Now, also, if we talk about the exercises of this chapter, it has a variety of exercises, starting from objective type questions to then descriptive type questions. So there is fill in the blank, there is choose the correct option. So all these questions, starting from I can tell to I can do, to the different kind of exercises in this question. So all of them help basically the differential learning abilities of the students. You know that, like, I mean, our classrooms are full, I mean, our schools are full of diverse learners actually. So their understanding, their learning ability, their cognitive abilities, all are different. So the exercises in this book actually would help diverse learners, so thereby making learning, teaching and learning easier for the teachers as well as the students. So I really like the language, explanation and the different activities in this book. So everyone, the children would find it easier to learn from this course. And of course, we have and all, like, I mean, yeah, that.
Yeah. And what you mentioned from, the journey from I Can Tell to I Can Do is something that we can we also saw during the webinar today. Like, people were simultaneously working and making a web page, and previously they made an animation. So yes.
And also winding up with the exercise, which is detailed. Yes. So that's what, so that their learning becomes complete.
Complete, yes, totally. Thank you so much, Shiba. Yeah. Shoma, like, you have worked on all the books of the series. You are the managing editor for this. So, and like the NEP talks about technology in great detail. So what are the different skills that students will learn through this series, which is in alignment with the NEP?
Okay, so even before we start with NEP, I think Sneha, Mansi and I, when we started talking in the initial stages of the book, the first thing we talked about was the fact that coding is no longer an exclusive skill only for a certain set of geeky people. It is an essential life skill. And lo and behold, 6 months down the line, we had the new, policy coming in the month of July, the National Education Policy, which again reiterated the same thing, that coding has now become an essential life skill. So we will have to teach our children coding right from a very young age. So if now, in retrospect, if you ask me to align with the NEP, I think we were on the right track right from the very beginning, because we thought of doing computational skills, which the NEP is now emphasizing significantly. We are doing computational skills right from class 2 onwards, and it gradually evolves into preparation or readiness towards writing code, learning a programming language, which is first again done through a block code based programming, like programming tool like Scratch, and eventually goes up to Python. So that's the first point of intersection. The second point of intersection is the skills, because as technology becomes all pervasive, the need to know how to use the technology is not a matter of choice. it is a need. So it is a necessity. So anyone who's a digital native, who's born and brought up in the era of mobile phones, 24/7, WhatsApp, and what have you, will need to understand topics that seem very far-fetched and taken from realms of science fiction. Things like artificial intelligence have already seeped into our lives. We need to teach our children about all of this. However, alongside all of this, children also need to develop requisite skills, which is also being stressed by the NEP, which has also been being stressed by the Central Board of Secondary Education, the CBSE. So for classes 6, 7, and 8, what we have done is, towards the end of the books, we have included a special segment on skill development that will meet the requirements of vocational skill development as outlined by the CBSE. So these are the two crucial ways in which I think we are aligned with the NEP. And further, as Shiba ma'am said, we are focusing on assessment in learning, assessment for learning, not assessment of learning. So the idea is to support the learning journey that a student undertakes right from day one to the last day, and handhold the student through a variety of pedagogical tools, through a variety of teacher support materials, so that it is a fulfilling experience for both the student and the teacher alike. I think those are the three basic points, Rageshri.
Thank you so much, Ruma. Yeah, that kind of sums it up. So thank you everyone for your thoughts, sharing your thoughts, and we hope this book will really benefit both teachers and students in the teaching and learning process. So a short video created by our authors just for you. So I'll just share my screen for everyone to see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now that we have discussed smart tech, let's move on to smart techie. So as we know that, we were running a contest throughout this month on Tech Tuesdays, and we have the winners. So I'll take a minute to announce the winners. So here we go. So we have the winners, first, second, and third. Quiz 1, it's Debaditya Devgupta, Tuhina and Tanya Garai, Sharanya Sen Gupta. Quiz 2, the winners are Mehak Satyapuri, Manjari Sharma, Pramila Jadhav. Quiz 3, it is Naman Sharma, Nandish Jain and Ritu Sharma. Quiz 4, Naman Sharma again and J. Divyansh. So congratulations all of you. So Collins Smart Techies you are. So thank you all so much. Shrikant, it's over to you now.
Thank you so much, Rageshri, and I would like to thank Sneha and Mansi for being with us all through the 4 weeks of 5 weeks, in fact, of Collins Smart Techies. And congratulations to all the winners. We had a huge participation, in fact, and we would like to allow all the students to come back to us and help us with your thoughts on this. As reiterated before, please share your videos. Please, not only your videos, even your web pages that you created after this webinar. We would love to see them. And with that, we would like to thank everyone who has participated, and also the authors who are with us. And with that, wish you all a great week ahead, and a great evening to all of you. Thank you.